What's up, guys? Everybody who's joining in, welcome. Got about I'd probably say 6-7 minutes before we get started here. So everyone that's rolling in, welcome. Guys, this is number 2 inside our 8-week series. So is the problem big enough for them to act? So we're going to be going through checkbox 1, some cool stuff, a little bit of a different slideshow than we've had inside the past. So you guys can see some updates to it, and yeah, gonna be fun. So again, we got probably about 5-6 minutes before we get rolling. Thanks, guys.
What's up, everybody? Right. Ooh, we got lots of new names. Ooh, even somebody called Zoom user. Love that. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, we got you.
Yeah, there he is. Just sandbagging.
We got you. Zoom user is equivalent to incognito in Chrome.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, it either means I'm ultra sophisticated in my online security, or I don't know how to use Zoom yet. Either way, which is fine. We all learn. But
That's right.
That's right. A unique one.
During COVID, and I don't know if it was just someone trying to troll, but there was a Zoom thing that said trying to connect. And that was the name. It was trying to connect ... And I thought that was extremely unique, right? Especially for the school side. Like, that's it. You're gone.
So hold on. So you're saying this person actually put their name as trying to connect ...
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant.
You probably Google it, but it was during COVID and all of that different stuff. I forgot what social media thing I saw it on, right? But it was a teacher who was teaching, and she was calling the person out saying, "I know you're not trying to connect. I know that's your name." But at the bottom, when it disconnects and it says trying to reconnect and it has the 3 dots, like that was the name. You don't get, I mean, that's top level right there.
That's awesome. I love it.
Oh, all right. Welcome. Everybody's joining in. Start to 1 minute. 1 minute. We'll be respectful of everyone's time. We got a lot of information to go over in the next 60 minutes. And welcome. This is number 2 of 8 as we're going through our 4D sales process. So
better than information. I mean, we have lives to change, don't we, Chad? Like helping people figure out their biggest priorities, being that trusted advisor, being that consigliere. I mean, is there,
If you guys knew what went on the scenes or behind the scenes, I should say, right? It's like it's a drip of water, right? And the impact is when we show up, but the ripples is what ultimately plays out. And you guys will see that here, right? But we talk about that stuff in the back of like us coming in and helping the customer understand, right, what the problem or what the goal is. Because most of the time, perception's reality. They see a roof leak, and that's the problem. And it's really not. I've given examples inside some of the other ones of, yeah, it's a roof leak, but it's in a theater that's 50 foot high, and they got to remove the seats and bring the lift in and paint the ceiling. And this $1,000 leak now turned into a $20,000 renovation. It's so much more than a roof leak. It's so much more than that. And we'll say it throughout all of the future webinars and trainings that we're doing, that it's really about clarity and confidence, right? And it's for both sides of the table. I say both sides of the table, right? We want to sit on the same side, but it's about clarity and confidence that you guys have the right solution, that the problem is big enough for them to act, right? Going through the whole process we're going to be talking about. But it's also clarity and confidence for them to be able to understand that they know that they're doing the right thing. And that's what really is cool about all of this, is that you don't have to shove a sale down someone's throat. It doesn't have to be a one-call close. And you also don't have to get upset when something doesn't happen. You got instant closure to it to be able to say, hey, man, I don't think this is a big enough issue. I had a meeting today where I was like, I don't think we need to be retrofitting this building like this. I don't think the 2 leaks we have is enough to spend $500,000 on this. But that was the conversation. It's cool when you can get in those situations and sell with integrity, and also sell with enough value that you know you're helping solve the problem, or ultimately get them to their goal. It's awesome. I love that about this.
Yep. Amen.
All right, we're ready to roll?
Ready, let's do it.
Cool. All right. So you guys haven't looked at the screen yet. Today is the problem big enough for them to act? So this is checkbox 1. Welcome, guys. As I struggle each time I'm using Google Slides, this is No Reps Left Behind. Welcome. This is part of an 8-week series that we do simply to be able to raise the floor of the commercial sales rep. And when I say raise the floor, what I mean is make everybody better. When you talk about raising the bar, the individuals who can't meet the bar, right? You can't hold on to the bar right now, and then you make it higher. It makes it even more of like an impossible task to now the bar's higher. I got to jump higher. I got to work harder. I got to do more hours. That sucks. And that was part of the whole reason that David and I brought No Reps to life, is to be able to make it known that as a sales rep, you don't have to quit your job. You guys don't have to do these extreme things in order to be able to make your goals reality, right? You don't have the leadership. The goals are too high. You don't have the plan to be able to get there. That's what this is about. And from a leadership side, so whether you're an owner of a business or even a sales leader, you guys don't have to accept the gap between your best salesman and the one that's struggling the most, because you can learn from both of those guys. There's more than likely something great that everybody does. And when we raise the floor, we bring everybody together to be able to learn from each other and get the most out of ultimately the minds in the room. And that's what No Reps Left Behind is about. And what we're going to be doing today, guys. So welcome. Thank you guys for joining. My name is Chad Westbrook. I'm the founder of Sales Alignment. My background is commercial roofing, a little bit in construction, that background, but for the last almost 20 years, I've been in commercial roofing, accountable for well over $500 million. When I say that, that's not big, massive $5 million projects. We're talking service. I've headed up some of the largest preventative maintenance agreements across the entire United States. I've managed over 40 service divisions throughout the US as well. This is my background, guys. This is what I do. And I'm here because A, I love the industry, and B, I think there's a massive opportunity for everybody, especially in the commercial roofing industry, to get better and to be able to raise the floor. So thank you guys for being here. That's a big reason that I'm here, is to be able to invest back into you guys and see the team win.
Guys, my name is David Bonney, the founder of 45. Started my sales career almost 20 years ago, sucked real bad, had to figure it out real quick so I didn't get fired. And have basically just been trying to create more and more successful outcomes ever since. The main area, the main incubator for a lot of the strategies that I'm able to bring to the table comes in my experience of helping a company grow from about 500 million to 100 million. And they were backed by the largest private equity firms in the world. By the time I left, we were almost at $1 billion valuation. And it was really intense. Let's just say I'm grayer than I should be based on those times. And that pressure cooker forces you to figure out abnormal ways to produce results. And it's within that pressure cooker that, I've really figured out a lot of different ways where you can take sales and revenue results to the next level. And my goal from there was to come out side of that world and help the average business, not the ones that are funded by private equity and Goldman Sachs and Bain Capital. No, what is the typical business out there that has a healthy culture, is doing great things in the world? Why don't we give them those strategies? And in that journey, I've been opened up to the commercial roofing world. That's where Chad and I met about almost 4 years ago, probably at this point. I work with companies in the commercial roofing space, still applying these tactics to it. And I'm excited to be here, just like Chad said, to be able to continue to pour into you guys. You guys are here because you care about your results. You guys are here because you want to get better. Now, as you listen to us on this, don't feel good after this and get off and say, man, that was good. I grew today. And then don't change anything about what you're doing, right? Listen to this, pay attention, and then start to make changes, because we know the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing out there that you've been doing, you're going to continue to get the same results for your company. Change what you're doing, prioritize the adjustments that we're talking to you about here, and we promise you it's going to improve things.
I only got one comment on that. You look good in gray.
Cheers.
No, you look good in gray. Gray looks good on you. That's the only comment.
Thanks,
guys. So I do want to talk about
Silver Fox from here on out. Is that what you're asking me to do? Say David Bonney, say Silver Fox at the bottom. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? I'll do it.
Alter ego. I'm good with that. All right. So I do want to talk just a little bit about No Reps Left Behind. This is here for you guys. This is 100% free for you guys to be able to raise the floor within your personal plan, right? And then also as a company, depending on who you invite to be able to come in here. That's what this is about, inviting other individuals who want to get better so we can learn and raise the floor as a group. We do have 2 other groups that you guys can find. You can find both of them on Make Sales Work, just howitsounds.com. One is War Room. Think of it as a mastermind for sales leaders, where we're able to come in and solve the biggest issues that are holding our teams back, right? So we talk about methodology and all that stuff inside here. It doesn't go into book of businesses. It doesn't go into specific strategies, operational plans, and people, culture, different things like that. That's what David and I work on specifically for the sales leadership side, and we call it War Room. We have No Reps Left Behind that's here. We also have a new one that we've rolled out called Rainmaker. Rainmaker is ultimately a program that allows us to be able to encourage and really give sales reps the plan they need to be able to win their game. That's what this is about. And that's why you guys are probably showing up, is because you guys want to be able to figure out, how do I win my game? How do I win ultimately each day, each week? And what does winning look like? It's so different in every single culture. And that's really what Rainmaker is about. So you can find all that stuff, makesaleswork.com, check it out. Just want to be able to talk about that up front, that No Reps Left Behind is the entry level. It's the methodology. It's the sales training that you guys need to be great. But when you want to take it to the next level as an owner, you want to be able to duplicate the success that you're having. That's what happens inside War Room. And Rainmaker ultimately is what allows you to be able to bridge from, hey, I'm doing great as an owner, but I need more, right? We put it inside there. It's for busy owners to be able to start scaling their business and taking that next step. David, you want to take us through this? Because this is kind of what we talked about before we got rolling.
Yeah. So guys, as we look at being sales reps, as we look at being trusted advisors, we need to understand the unique opportunity that we have. Our ability to be able to talk to people who are in pain, who are experiencing problems that are causing them enough pain that they're reaching out for help. Our ability to have those conversations and have those effective conversations, the ripple effect that starts is it's major. we're not focused every single day on hitting quota. We're now focused on helping to lead people to outcomes that they wouldn't normally be able to achieve. We're doing a great service for our prospects. And as we do a great service for our prospects, as we help more people achieve the outcomes that they want to achieve, we are then, within the reciprocal nature of sales, rewarded for that, which is so amazing. And in that reward, we're able to provide for the people that we care most about, our families. We're able to walk in every day knowing that people are depending on us. They look to us. They're seeking us out so we can help them solve their biggest problems because they're not experts in the area that we are. And that confidence, it reverberates through the home, right? Our spouse, our kids, they look at us and they see that level of confidence and our ability to impact our communities, impact the market, impact our family with the income that we have. And that confidence, I mean, it's just unbelievably powerful. It's invaluable, right? To the future and the people that we care most about. And like we've got on the screen, that just continues to reverberate. People in our community start to see that. They start to see that more is possible, that we are able to take control, right? Most of the time, sales ends up being the role where just people just end up in. Chad and I feel very different about this. We want to create a world where people are aspiring to be in a sales role because there is no role that gives you the ability to have more fulfillment, more impact on people, and the ability to provide for those that you love most.
So I'll speak on this a little bit, and I'm going to take it back into the roofing world because David's absolutely right. First off, you talk about integrity, right? Doing the right thing when no one's looking. That's where I'm at. When I sell something, like, it's my name, it's me, right? It doesn't matter what company I was working for, I am working for. It's like they're buying a piece of me because I'm there helping them solve that problem. So when you think about showing up to a sales meeting or even signing the proposal, that is still just the initial impact of what's happening because the result is after you guys have delivered. Nothing really changes until after you guys have delivered, right? The solution, the problem solving, or the goal, right? That all flows into the aftermath, right? So when you guys step into the first meeting that you have, you're just defining the problem. The water is, the drip or whatever it is just hitting the surface. What we do is pull all of that stuff back as sales reps and say, hey, are we really solving the right problem here? And we'll talk a lot about that. But what happens is when we start fixing this, we're in the commercial world, guys. I am 100% a believer that what I have contributed back to my industry, to my communities, wherever it is, dude, some of the biggest companies stayed operational because of the service that I've provided throughout my career. And I honestly know and believe that. Some of the largest production, manufacturing, food, all of that stuff continues to be operational and not have any hiccups because of what I've been able to do to help solve problems for companies. And that's the mindset that I have. And I hope that you guys can just take a small piece of that because what we do is so much more than sales. It's so much more than signing a proposal and moving on to the next one. We truly are impacting our community. Every time we sell something, it allows us to be able to better, have a commission in the sales part. That's a huge reward of selling something, is to be able to have a monetary value to that. So the more problems that you guys can solve, the more goals that you can help your clients get to, is the more rewarded that you guys are going to be and are the more success that our communities are going to have. There's a massive impact to this. We service one of the largest and most expensive assets that a commercial building will ever have. And when that asset fails, it affects everything within that building. And we're going to talk a lot about that. But what David said is absolutely right. This is so much more than roofing. This is so much more than selling a proposal. Getting that signature on the line, guys, that's just the beginning of the impact that happens when we put something inside play. And I hope that you guys have that type of confidence and energy and all that stuff behind it, that's what we're here doing. Because if you don't, you guys are missing out on a great feeling of when you actually start applying yourself and helping your clients hit those goals rather than just selling a proposal.
All right. So this is ultimately what we want to talk to you guys about, is demystifying sales success and all of this. This is not about these the unicorns that sit atop Rainmaker Mountain who sprinkle fairy dust and get people to close. The vast majority of people in an organization don't understand what it takes to actually drive a deal all the way through to close. But I'll also tell you this, the majority of salespeople don't either. They're out there just doing stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Your pipeline falls down. Oh, these guys are absolutely going. I'm going to put this in my forecast. Got a $24,000 repair coming through. This is going to be awesome. Never does, right? We need to understand what the core mechanics are of sales. And in doing that, we're going to be able to demystify sales success. So it's very clear. It's very simple. We're not saying it's easy. Easy and simple are two different things. Okay, but to even get to our path of it being simple or easy, it has to become simple. This does not need to be complex when you guys are having conversations with human beings that could go in any different direction. And that's why we've tried to distill this down to its core parts. And it's obviously this work is, 20 years in the making, 2 decades to get here, right? Now we're trying to give this stuff to you here today.
So consistency is key. That's a huge, huge part of sales, is that you guys have to know, right? The definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. It doesn't work. Let's figure out what actually works. And much like David has said, we've already went through all of that. David and I have failed millions of times to be able to create ultimately the process of where we're at right now. And when someone tells me, especially a sales rep, it has nothing against sales reps in general, but when someone tells me their goal, honestly, it has no impact to me at all until I understand how they're going to get to that goal. And James Clear said it best: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Which means if you like shiny things, every time you see something shiny, every time someone calls in and says, hey, can you give me a bid by Wednesday? I got a project that's going, and you guys jump and run to that opportunity thinking that you're going to win it. That is the absolute definition of a lack of consistency. Very rarely do we win business when someone calls us up and says, hey, I need a third bid for this. Can you give me a bid by Wednesday? There's a lot that goes into that. We'll talk about unpacking that. But what I'm going to encourage you guys is to be able to understand sales is a consistent process. That's what the best individuals inside the entire world know exactly what they're going to say, when they're going to say it. They can go on rabbit trails. They can go down inside holes, whatever they want to do in their conversation. But everything is strategically to be able to get a set of questions answered. And that's what we're here to do today.
Yep. And, ultimately, when it comes down to this, guys, this really should be a lab. This should be something where we're looking at what it is that we're doing and we're tweaking and we're optimizing every step of our process. Now, we're going to talk about this analogy a ton. Those of you guys, we have plenty of people that have been here before on with us, but we do have a lot of new names. But you guys that are on here regularly, we talk about date versus doctor visit all the time. Stop with the courtship. Yes, in a courtship, it needs to be completely new. It needs to be very specific to that person. In a doctor visit, it doesn't. For a doctor's visit, this needs to be very consistent, like Chad was saying, with 20 to 30% that could change based on the conditions and what's going on with the human being. But we have to have a process that we're going through. And once we have that process, we can then go into the lab and we can improve that process. And there's this holy grail on the other side of it, guys, that we're actively working on with every single one of our companies. The holy grail of uncapped sales conversion. Because I'm doing a good job with this set of prospects, implementing this process, but now I'm getting these guys. They're having this kind of issue, or they're pushing back on these areas. And how do I adjust how can I tweak my process to get them? Well, let's do this, tweak this, change this, reword this. Bam. Now we start having better conversations with this subset of prospects, right? And then we just move on to the next. This is much more of a process and science than it is an artistic expression, guys. We've got to get rid of the courtship.
We're there to solve problems, right? When we meet with a customer, there's 4 different ways that we could sell. Number 1 is they have a problem and they don't know how to solve it. Number 2 is they have a goal or a vision and they don't know how to get there, right? Both awesome opportunities for us to be able to come in as a trusted advisor, partner with them and help them get there. The other one is education. We're educating, right, our customers on that asset. It's a huge, huge part, right? Education. The last one is fear. We don't ever want to go down fear because that is ultimately what we battle every single day. When you call somebody or go and meet with them and you say, hey, my name's Chad, I'm with roofing. And the first thing they say is, no, our roof is fine. Thank you very much. We're not interested. That's a shield that they are putting up for every bad experience that they had, afraid that you're going to sell them something that they don't need or they don't want. That's where this comes inside play. There's so much that we can do, understanding what happens with our past opportunities that we can influence what our future opportunities look like. And that's what you're seeing inside the sales lab. It allows us to be able to understand ultimately what's going to make us better. David said it best, and he has a great story that I'm sure we'll hear behind it on the courtship, right? We're going in to be able to solve problems. Yes, we want our customers to like us. We want them to be there, but do we want to date them? No, not at all. We're showing up because they have a problem. They expect us to deliver on that problem. And as soon as they sign that proposal, that is a business transaction where they are paying to be able to change their atmosphere. And if we're not crystal clear on what that atmosphere looks like after they sign, that is where ultimately problems start. We don't want to be inside that area. And that's what we're going to be working on today, is helping them get clarity and confidence on that. You want to take us through the sales lab, David?
Yep. Yeah. And guys, the very key thing on this is very practical. Everything that we're going to talk to you guys about today is very specific to increasing your conversion rate, getting more of the people to see that they need to that this needs to be a priority and they need to take action against it. And then with that, desensitizing price, so we're increasing average revenue per sale. And then from there, through that action, through that urgency that we've created, decreasing average time to close. So if you guys are closing more deals at a higher price faster, what else do we want? Those are the three metrics, the three critical KPIs for our role that determine our success.
We're talking to the same amount of people, but more of them are converting into opportunities and more of them are converting into sales. We're desensitizing price. That's a huge, huge part of it, which means everybody who goes and they buy on price. I talked about it when we first started here, the $1,000 roof leak that we had to fix in the 50-foot high theater. That price to be able to fix the roof repair, to be able to fix the actual roof, was $1,000. The cost for them to be able to get the lift inside, move the chairs, repaint the ceiling, all that stuff was $20,000. That's desensitizing prices, because if we can get up there, proactively fix issues, does $1,000 really mean anything when it costs them $20,000 to follow behind? Desensitize the price, make them understand what the bigger situation is, which we'll talk about, and the average time to close. And that's what we'll really focus on today, is be able to make sure that they understand the priority. If you're in any part of the US that deals with winter, okay, right now is a huge part of it. Being able to do repairs when there's snow on the roof, right? When you have different aspects like that, people move slower, safety's increased, and the price is more. Let's take care of situations now before we live inside that environment. So we'll be talking about all of that stuff as we move forward, guys, but there's massive, massive wins to be able to have consistency that's rolling through that. So priority and urgency, right? Increasing the conversion rate and decreasing the average time to close. Those are two things we're going to roll on. You want to take us through the onion, David?
Yep. Yeah. So guys, who loves to peel the freaking onion, right? I mean, how many times have you heard this? Peel the onion, peel it, get to emotion. But what we haven't heard is, what's the consistent process that is actually systematic way I could tap into if the pain truly does exist with a prospect, right? What's the systematic way I can go through on the process I can go through on every single call, right? To be able to get there. Now, the reps that we work with, a lot of they started calling this process pain hacking. You can call it whatever you want, but that's what this is. If the emotion is there, this process will help you get to it consistently every single time, put you in position to do so you can probe in the right areas and actually get to where you need to be. All right, so let's start off with buyer's intent. Now, we've talked a ton about this and we continue to, but it's so important. Our prospective buyers are not just sitting around at home bored. They got TikTok, they got video games, they got all the stuff, right? They're not looking for a new friend. Okay, they're taking their time to hop on, to schedule something with you and hop on that call for a reason, or attend that meeting for a reason. They're spending their time and energy. Remember, time and energy is they're two of the three currencies that we can all spend. So it's already a big time tell, right? They're spending their time and energy with us. So we need to understand, what is that reason? Why are they doing that? Well, that takes us down to buyer's intent. Go move it on. Is it dragging?
It could be dragging on my side. I don't know. You're cutting up a little bit on me. It could be my internet.
Uh-oh.
I know. That's why I'm stalling. If it's me, guys, I apologize.
No, it's probably me. It's that new Verizon side, right? It's the can you hear me now? All right. So you guys got me now. All right. So our buyers intend to find the best solution to solve the actual problems, causing them enough pain and keeping them from important outcomes. They don't want to buy our stuff. They don't want our services. Right? The stuff that they end up buying is a necessary part of solving their problems, and they'd be more than happy to solve their problems without our services. This is a big deal. Chad talks about it all the time.
Think about this.
We do doesn't solve their problem. They don't care. If somebody else figures out a way to help them solve their problem and it doesn't take a roofer, they're more than happy to choose that. Go ahead, Chad.
They are. So think about this as a sales rep, who's actually going to take the time to sit down with a roofer because they truly enjoy sitting down and talking about their roof? The answer is very, very few. So that's our job. When you talk about pain hacking, peeling the onion back, wherever it is, I mean, that ultimately is the first question. Why would you take time and energy out of your day to be able to sit down? Because there's more than likely something going on where they're on a mission, right? They're there to be able to find the best solution for them, right? This is not about you, your company, how long you've been inside business, that they like you. No one cares about that. What they care about is finding the best solution to solve the actual problems. Perception is reality. The problem is what they see, okay? They don't see the roof, guys. Nobody cares about the roof. They see damaged ceiling tiles. They see water on the floor, whatever it is, their perception is reality because they need to solve that problem because it's causing them enough pain, enough disruption inside whatever their atmosphere is that's keeping them from doing what they really want to do, which is if it's selling paper products and they move and they're a paper warehouse, maybe that's what it is. But we got to understand all of this from our client's side, from the client's perspective, that they intend to find the best solution for them that's going to solve the actual problems of what they see, causing them enough pain and disruption that's keeping them from where they really want to be. Remember when I said that? They have a problem that they don't know how to solve, or they have a vision and they don't know how to get there, guys. That's what this is about. This is the buyer's intent. Sit on the same side of the table as them and understand that they're not trying to be a jerk. They're not trying to shop out proposals. They're intending to be able to find the best solution to the problem that they see that's causing them enough pain, keeping them from important outcomes. And if there's any other variables in there, it's because there's bad experiences that they're trying to not have again. That's the shield they have up. This is the buyer's intent. This is a huge, huge part of it, right? Causing enough pain.
All right. Yeah. So obviously that's what we're going to be focused on here, causing enough pain. And this squarely hits the first checkpoint. Do they need to take action or not? Okay. Is there enough pain to actually act? Okay. So we can just map it over real quick. Basically, do they need to act? Maps up to causing enough pain. And do they need to act? Specifically in roofing, really focuses on, is it keeping them from an important outcome as well, right? The opportunity cost on this stuff that we can get more into some examples.
We got 3 checkpoints we're going to go through inside all these trainings. Number 1, do they need to act? That's today. Tomorrow or next week, we're going to be going through, do they need new and outside help? And do we have the best solution? So all 3 of these checkboxes are going to line you guys up to be able to have complete alignment, complete clarity and confidence between you and your customer. You guys don't have to solve these problems, right? You don't have to create these questions. All of this stuff is already done. You guys just need to have consistency in asking the question and turning it into a conversation. We've done the work. We've been in the lab. David and I have been through this, tested it, and failed 100 times. This is the success that came out of that.
Yep. All right. So what does this actually look like, right? No vague platitudes, right? What does this actually look like? How do we actually go through it? Well, this is where the buyer's action plan comes in place. Our job is to create a plan of action for our potential buyers so that they can solve the biggest problems, causing them the most pain, keeping them from important outcomes. If we provide that plan for them, we're going to create massive clarity for them to be able to take the action that they need to, which will, the majority of the time, lead them to work with our company. And this is not about closing 100% of the ops that you have. Then you're not generating enough leads if you are closing at 100%. It's about getting the leads that actually do need help today from an outside source, from an outside vendor. That's the sliver right there. That is where sales success matters. That's where you go from 25, 30% of your quotes converting up to 45, 50, 55, 60% of your quotes converting.
So
Okay,
here's
that's
a key
what
part.
exists.
I think I missed it in when we were going through the 3 checkpoints. This is about discovery. Okay. When we go into this is about discovering and checking the box, yes or no, right? We're going to talk about eliminating maybes, but yes or no, is the problem big enough for them to act? It's okay if the answer is no. It's okay to disqualify a customer and say, I don't think this problem is big enough for you to do something. Or they've had the leak for 5 years and they're asking you for a proposal because, you know what, why don't you give me a proposal, see what's going on? I'll pass it by ownership. It's okay not to bid those jobs. That's actually one of the skills that it takes in order to be able to increase your close ratio, is to make sure that whatever fits into your funnel, your book of business, are the best possible opportunities to close. And that best possible opportunity is based upon these 3 check boxes. So discover and disqualify. I'll say it throughout this: discover and disqualify. It's okay to disqualify a customer. It's okay not to quote the opportunity. It's okay to walk away. David said it: time, energy, money. Those are the 3 currencies that we have, guys. And trust me, there is a lot of time and a lot of energy that is spent in every single book of business following up with people who don't answer your call, don't respond to you, but you keep them in there because of that emotional bond of, you know what, maybe they're going to come back. Discover and disqualify. This is the first checkbox that we're giving you guys to be able to say, do they belong in your book of business? Do they belong in your client list? Step 1 right here.
All right, let's go move on. All right, so the first thing that we need to do, guys, we need to take leadership position. Okay. Right from the start of the call. Remember, this is not a courtship. You're not trying to turn them into your friend. You're trying to help them solve their problems and help them get healthy. So we need the right type of bedside manner or chairside manner, whatever you want us to call it. We don't need to treat them like a transaction, right? And be some rogue person. Okay, are you ready to start? No, it's not. We do some short rapport building. Okay. We will get into that stuff, but all this long rapport building is not necessary. We need to take leadership position because sales calls are ultimately a waste of time for the majority of prospects. So you're going to see more and more prospects are trying to jump in and take control. I know you already see it, but it's continuing to get worse. They're going to jump in and try to take control over the call so they can get the value they're looking for, right? Instead of you just going through your process so you can hit quota, which is irrelevant to them. Now, we're going to say this a lot, guys. You cannot help them. You cannot lead them to outcomes that they wouldn't normally be able to achieve if you allow them to take control over the call and the process. So how do we do this? We start with the short rapport building. Okay. We don't want to be all business, like I said before, but we also don't need to try to become their best friend. Too much rapport building is going to come off as manipulative. Just like if a doctor walked into the room and you have the flu and they're in there just, trying to chop it up with you, talking about the Astros game last night that they shouldn't have lost, by the way. That's terrible. I digress. But if you did that, it's like, man, I'm not feeling good. Can we just get down to how I'm feeling and whether or not you think this is the flu? So we're going to build light rapport, but we're not going to go all the way over to this heavy 15-minute of rapport building that so many people get into. All right, so after that light rapport is built, we want to set the agenda. Assure them that this call is going to be valuable to them and tell them how you're going to actually deliver that value. Then you get the confirmation that they're okay with it. Get that verbal yes. Does that work for you? Yes. Okay. All right, so what does this sound like? We can talk about it all day, but what does it really actually sound like? Go up one.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. All right, so here's an example of how you guys can take leadership position, right? And we're going to give these examples and you can put you guys into a position to edit it. If you like it, use it. If you don't, edit it wherever necessary, right? But the key is to hit the objectives that we talk about on the last slide, on this previous slide. So you come right in. Hey, Chad, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
How about you?
You're located in Chicago, is that right? How's the weather for you guys? It's not a frigid Arctic wasteland yet, is it?
It might as well be.
Already, huh?
Yes, sir. Cold 54, 56 now. We got a 2 degrees increase, so we're good.
There you go. Yep. Like a spring day out there. So I know you're busy. Are you ready to get started with the call?
Let's go.
Okay, this is how these calls go. And I'm right into it. Whatever we think the agenda needs to be. I'm going to start off by asking you some questions. I want to understand what's going on with your roof. I want to understand what your objectives are, blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, this time is for you. Right. But my goal is to put together a plan of action for you at the end of this so that you can figure out how to move forward, whether we work together or not. Okay. I'm not here to just pitch our stuff and throw a number over to you. We want to support you in reaching the outcomes that you want to reach. This is an example. Okay. But set that agenda. Make sure that they understand what it is that you're going to be doing and how the time with them is going to be valuable. And you'll experience far less bucking or pushback when you ask the questions that you're going to ask.
100% agree. So I'll give just a little bit of a tweak to this. So I had a meeting that I ran this morning. And as I read the meeting, as I went through it, right, we were talking about a roof report. And he's like, I was getting ready to go to Ohio, right? He said that off to me off the bat. And I was like, who wants to go to Ohio? And that was my rapport building, right? And he's like, well, if I saw a Penn State game, and like, it was just a quick rapport building, but it was based on just a conversation that we're a person, right? We don't want to go in, we don't want to be a robot. But at the same point, much like David said at a doctor's office, they don't care how long you've been in business. They don't care about any of that stuff. They have a problem. They're sitting there, they're meeting with you for a reason. That's your job, is to be able to get in, figure out what that reason is that they're taking the time to be able to sit down with you. So David, awesome job on that. But just where it is, guys, it doesn't have to be anything scripted. It can be a general intro, rapport building, what's up kind of meeting, right? Or kind of intro to it, because you want to be a human, right? You don't want to be a robot.
Yep. Now, with that, though, let's just some of the stuff that we had talked about last week, Chad. One of the things to make sure to avoid, though, to make sure we're not miscommunicating here, guys, is you want to sound natural, but don't sound incompetent. Too many ums, uhs, kindas, sortas decreases your influence with that prospect. So, yeah, Chad, so, we're just going to kind of ask you some questions here and sort of get an understanding. What? You're going to kind of ask me questions, or you're going to ask me questions? Are you going to sort of figure out what's going on, or are you going to figure out what's going on, right? Get that weak language out. Don't wing it, right? But like Chad said, have an understanding of what you need to say, but make sure it sounds natural.
Yeah. When David was doing that, the first thing that I just thought of when you were going through there's lack of confidence. Yeah. Right. And he could be all the confident inside the world, but with him stumbling over his words, and it's very hard. Like, there's a lot that goes into being a professional speaker, and the ums, all of that stuff, that's just natural fillers that you put in between what you feel is awkward space. And we're not going to get into voice tone and all that kind of different stuff, but silence is not a bad thing. If it takes you a second to be able to transition, it's a lot easier than having 15 ums within what you say. So more on that later.
All right. So after, let's go to the next slide. All right. So after we sorta and kind of set the agenda, it's kind of, just kidding. After setting the agenda, guys, it's time to start the discovery section of the call. They scheduled and attended this meeting, spending their valuable time and energy with a stranger and a salesperson, no doubt, for a reason. Right? It's a huge tell. It's the most important piece of information that we need right now. What is their objective? It's such a great way to start off the conversation and build confidence that this is going to go in the right direction. Okay. All right. So after us analyzing thousands of calls over the years, what we've noticed is that there's a trend. Invariably, they are going to schedule the call. They're going to agree to meet with you. They are going to talk to you because they're either trying to solve a problem or achieve a goal. Right? They're reacting to a current problem they're frustrated by, or they're wanting to avoid a near-term problem that they see coming, or they want to get out ahead of a longer term problem or problems, or they're wanting to achieve a short or long-term goal, and there's some problem keeping them from being able to do that. Why else would they be looking for a solution? Solution, solve problems and get people to outcomes. This is get the discussion. They'll go right into it. Okay. This answer, it's the small domino, guys, that is ultimately going to fall and help us knock down all the bigger dominoes as we lead up to pain awareness. Okay. You have to identify the problem or goal here. And you got to do so succinctly, no matter how long and drawn out their answer is, right? We all know those talkers that we talk, that we connect with. So how does this sound? We've just gotten an alignment or agreement on the agenda. Then we move right into it. I got that. Yes. Okay. So Chet, when people take time to meet with me or hop on a call with me, they're usually trying to solve a problem or achieve a goal. Which is it for you? And bam, I'm in. Shut up. Let them go.
That's a
You're into
huge
the call.
Being quiet is a huge part after you ask that question. Because a lot of times what's going to happen is the prospect that you're talking to may be caught off guard because he was expecting to be sold to. He was expecting for you to be able to start vomiting, right? I'm with this company. We've been in this business. This is what we do. And you're just going to start kind of pitching all of this different stuff. Now you're engaging him. That's one of the first things that you guys are doing is say, all right, talk to me. When people typically take the time to sit down, they got a problem or a goal. Which is it for you? And it doesn't matter if you're in front of one person or a board full of 20 people, you can ask the same exact questions. This is where we talk about consistency is key. There's no need to be nervous because you're asking the same first question every single time. You can be confident within that. All right, guys. All right, so we're all sitting down at this table now. We're good on the agenda. Talk to me. What's the problem or goal that we're trying to achieve today? I can say it to 1, I can say it to 20. Same conversation will get started. I engage those individuals. And at that point, David, you said it best. I want to be direct, guys. Shut up. Let them process. Let them process inside their head. Don't be the first one to say the answer. Because once you say the answer or once you start talking, it dilutes the impact of the question.
Mm-hmm.
Silence is okay, especially if they're processing.
Right. So the other thing that I'll say on what Chad, so imagine, right? You've got a salesperson that's out there and their opening question is like, one of 5 or 7 different opening questions. They go on 20 sales calls. On average, they're going to ask the same question maybe 3 times, right? Because they're asking 5 to 7 different ones. Right? Our reps get in there and they ask the same question 20 times. Guess what happens? The answers that you start getting from that start to be the breadcrumb trail and you know where things are going to end up. Stop doing yourself a disservice. Ask the same dang question. You start seeing the consistency in answers and what's actually happening, which is going to decrease the calories that you have to burn to figure out, or the cognitive load that it takes for you to figure out why this person is there and ultimately where this is all going to end up, guys. Do yourself the service. Love yourself. We love you. Love yourself enough to ask this question every time. This is a public service announcement.
You guys didn't expect a therapy session, did you?
That's right. That's right. All right. So the big thing in this, guys, this creates continuity in the buyer's journey, right? The continuity needed as they transition from marketing to sales, whether it was a referral that sent them, whether your company has a marketing department that send them over to you, whether you got them on the phone and got them to agree with this meeting, or the SDR team did. I don't care. This creates continuity in the journey. What agitated you so much out there that caused you to be here? Create that continuity. Be nice to your buyers. All right. Now, keep this in mind as we run through these. The amount of time in this process with each one of these questions is going to depend on the complexity of your solution or whatever it is that they're looking for. A small leak versus a re-roof is going to create more time that they're going to spend trying to ultimately answer your question. Okay. And that's okay. Be okay with that. The more complex the solution that they need, the more that they're going to talk about this stuff, the more that they're going to ramble on typically, and manage your time appropriately. All right. So we've established their objective for scheduling and attending the call. Now we got to identify the decision makers. Okay. But these 2 questions need to stay connected. Think of this like a Venn diagram. Keep it consistent. All right. So with decision makers, you're staying focused on the problem or the goal that they gave you. And now we need to know who's responsible for solving that problem or achieving that goal. Who owns it? Then we want to understand who makes the decisions, who has the authority. Okay. And we're doing this because we're helping them build a plan. And that plan is only going to be as good as the inputs that you get. So understanding what is going on from the perspective of the most important stakeholders is critical if you are going to help them. Right? Courtship, date versus doctor visit. So many people go in, so many salespeople go in and start asking for decision makers. And it's immediately like, no, I'm the gatekeeper here. You're not getting past me because I know why you want the decision maker. You're trying to court us. You're trying to get us to do what you want, right? You're trying to get us to date you, to be with you. No, not the trusted advisor, not the doctor. The doctor wants to know the decision makers because I need the input so I can put together the best plan for you. That's a you thing. This is a WIFM. What's in it for you? Sorry, go ahead, Jen.
No, that's okay, because this you have to have an inquisitive mind, right? That's what I'm encouraging you guys to have as we start asking these questions. We are not dictating the products that we're selling and making a square peg fit in a round hole. That's not what this is about. This is a discovery process is what we're at right now. So it's like, all right, so what's going on, guys? This is an open-ended question. You guys have a problem or a goal? Which one is it? Oh, you got a problem. Now you take that same inquisitive mindset and just say, oh man, so who's responsible for solving that? Right? It's a question. And much like you said, it's continuity between you're asking this as if you're trying to learn about his reality and his world. You're not selling anything at this point right now. This is discovery. Okay, so you're responsible for solving this. So you're gonna go out, you meet with the contractors, you're gonna get a proposal. Are you the one that's signing off on it too? So this is your problem. This is 100% your problem. This is what it sounds like, guys, because you're having a conversation with these questions. So once you figure out it's a problem or a goal, okay, so who's responsible for solving this? Do you have a team that's helping you? Nah, dude, it's just me. All right, well, so once you get all of this stuff together, are you also the one that's responsible for signing the proposal and making the work happen? They're just inquisitive questions that we're trying to figure out. Now, what's going to happen with these questions are going to set the stage. Because if you guys have ever worked with a company that had to go to, let's just say, a board, right? They had to go to a board. You find that out right here. Who's responsible for this? Oh, I'm responsible for it. Okay, are you the one that's going to sign the proposal too? No. Once I get everything together, I'm gonna put it up to my boss, and then he's going to go through purchasing, and then they'll get the PO written after we choose who's going to go to it. Now you just figured out the whole sales process. And I asked 2 questions, right? This is about an inquisitive mind. And literally, they will tell you everything that's going on because people love talking about themselves. They love talking about their objective inside this, and not objective, but their contribution to it. That's a huge part of this, guys. Inquisitive mind is massive. So you're not going in there trying to drill down and say, oh, who's responsible for this? It's an inquisitive mind to say, oh, okay, so you got this problem. Are you responsible for solving that too? Oh man, okay. And then you're signing off on the thing. This is your problem. This is yours. That's what it sounds like. Get inquisitive with it. And again, sit on the same side of the table as your prospect. You guys are both solving the same problem. You guys have to end up with that same goal. And we'll talk more about that in the future. But huge part of that. That's what it sounds like, guys.
Yep. And then one thing to add on that, guys, is also, what process do you guys go through to make these decisions? Right. One of the best reps of the companies that I do fractional work for, one of the best reps that I've got, we were going through a process. The deal was about $57,000. He thought it was going to come in last month. And then all of a sudden it didn't. It's like, well, what happened? It's supposed to come in on the 22nd. Didn't come in. What happened? Dude, it has to go to board approval now. Now they're going through all this other process. Right. We pull up the form of 45. Did you ask a question? He forgot to ask the question. He just didn't do it. If he would have been able to go through that process. We got to go through a board approval. Now he's completely misaligned. He's completely disconnected from what's actually going on out there. And he's one of the best reps that I've got. He's fantastic. He just missed it. He didn't have to. Now, there's plenty of other calls where he doesn't miss it and it really helps him. And that's why he does so well. But guys, these are the self-inflicted wounds that we create for ourselves, guys. If we just have process to put you in position to get this information, you know what the hell is going on. so you can be in control of the deal, so you can be in control of the process and leading them to the outcomes that they wouldn't normally be able to achieve. All right, so next section. All right, so we have the problem or the goal, right? We know the main characters of this narrative that we're building or this business plan. Next up, we want to identify what those main characters have done to solve this problem or try to achieve this goal up until now, and why those actions haven't worked at the level needed. Because if the efforts were working at the level needed, they wouldn't still be experiencing the problem. If they could have solved it, they would have solved it, guys. Like we said before, if they're meeting with you, it's probably something irritating enough that they need to take action on. Just go figure that out. If they could have solved this problem that's irritating the hell out of them, they probably already would. Just go figure out why they haven't been able to. I mean, guys, it's all right there for us. It's freaking awesome. We can help so many people, okay? So this is where we start unpacking their frustration with past efforts. Or we find out that they haven't tried anything yet at all, which begs the question of why not? Is this really not painful enough for them to do anything? Right? Or maybe the pain has just come on super suddenly and they need to take quick and effective action, so they haven't done anything yet. Okay. But understanding this critical question is going to help you guys in 3 ways. First of all, it's not only is it going to help you guys uncover their pain as we tap into this frustration and helplessness, the vulnerability. Okay. This is also going to start to give you an understanding of what the real problem is. Because when you figure out what they've tried and why it hasn't worked, it automatically helps you narrow things down. Right? It's also going to help you guys start the process of getting them to come to terms with their own low ability to solve this problem on their own, if that is in fact the case. And they don't know if they're incompetent or not. You've got to put it right in front of them, and this is where it starts. Okay? And this is super simple. How does it sound? I know you've talked about a couple things already, Chad. But what else have you guys done to try to, or what are you guys currently doing to try to fix this leak or get this roof problem to stop? Fill in the blank. And why isn't it working? Why do you think it hasn't worked? Maybe it's Bob the maintenance man. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he goes up there with his tool bag and he duct tapes some stuff together. It works for a little bit, and then bam, it's leaking again, or whatever the thing is. Okay. And once you get that answer, you can clearly ask, well, have you ever used it, or do you guys have an outside roofer? Have you guys gotten another quote on this already? What are other people telling you? This opens up a lot of different probing questions that really get you into, what do you agree with? What do you not agree with? And now, again, it just puts you in great position to be able to get all the information that you need to build the plan to get them to take massive action with an outside solution that's yours.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
All right. And now we finally get to understanding. We've built up now to this 4th question. We know the problem, we know the main characters, and we know their failed attempts. Now we can get clear on what will happen if they continue to fail solving this problem, if they continue to experience these leaks or whatever it is. What's the impact? And the impact is usually going to fall in one of 3 areas. If this continues to happen, are they ultimately going to have to deal with a slip fall hazard? Have they ever dealt with a slip fall hazard before? They know what that means. They know how painful it can be.
This is not the roof. Let's just be super clear on this. This is not them having to pay another roofer to come out there and fix what maybe failed on the actual roof. Remember, I said no one cares about the roof. What they care about is what's happening in their world that's affecting them big enough for them to be able to find a solution, right? Causing them enough pain, keeping them from their important outcomes. So remember that. It's not about the roof. So what's the worst possible outcome if this is not solved correctly?
So we talked about that slip fall hazard, or it's a loss of productivity, right? Because they either have to shut stuff down or they have to take people off of other work that they need to be doing to go clean it up or to go put trash, whatever the thing is, or it's damaged product. Loss of efficiency. Maybe it's dripping down on the administrator's desk and the administrator is the one who takes sales calls. And now she's working from home, all real. Now she's working at home and all of a sudden they're on rainy days, they're not answering as many sales calls. It's costing them money. It's costing them actual physical dollars. If we can get down to that, there's only a handful of reasons or things or outcomes that are actually happening here. We can figure that out. Once we lead them there, we can really get clear on what their issue is. Okay.
So let me be super clear on this, guys. This is not you assuming the answer. This is not you filling in the blank when your sales manager or me or whoever says, hey man, so what's the problem? What's going on up there? What's the issue if they don't do it? This is not you saying, I think it's no. They have to say it. They have to say it because this is a deep processing part of the process, right? Of the program, of the 3 check boxes, right? Realistically, what's going to happen? What's the worst thing that's going to happen if this doesn't get fixed right? Then again, quiet, let him talk through this, right? What's going to happen if they spend $10,000 on this? They choose a contractor that's $500 cheaper than you. They don't fix it right and they have to come back. This is not the roof. Let me remind you guys, this is not the roof. What's the impact that's happening in the building, right? What if that doesn't change? What if they choose not to do anything at all? This is a real question that's challenging them to say, do you even really need to do anything, man? Like you had a roof leak that was here 3 months ago. It hasn't came back inside 3 months. I mean, what if you just don't do anything? What then? It's a complete mind shift on their side that you're not trying to sell them something. You're not trying to shove a square peg into a round hole saying buy, 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 buy. You're actually on the same side of the table. You're asking real questions to be able to say, if this isn't fixed right the first time, what's going to happen, right? If you don't do anything at all, does that matter? Like, can you just like not do anything? And if he says yes, it's okay. It's okay to disqualify someone. It's okay to be able to find some type of synergy or alignment to be able to say, you know what? This problem's actually not big enough for us to be able to spend because I only got $500 that's allowed to me before I have to go to an upper and I know my upper's not paying for it. That's okay. I've made more relationships and gained more integrity by saying, hey, I don't think this is the best project for us, or I don't think this is big enough for us to be able to do it, because that's the form of integrity, guys, that'll get you more relationships and I'll help you build. So I know we kind of went through this. I know we're running short on time. The big part about this, guys, is that what we're showing you, this continuity, is that all of these questions intersect. They need to flow. It's a conversation. We talked about you guys not having to solve all of this and create all of these problems. David and I just gave you all of the questions that you need to ask in order to be able to checkbox number 1, right? Reach that milestone. Do they actually need to act, right? What's the problem or goal? Are you responsible for that, right? Who's signing the proposal? What's going on with all of that? Then you're saying, okay, have you guys tried to solve this before, right? Did this just come up a brand new problem that happened yesterday? Or have you guys been trying to solve this inside the past and it didn't work? Because if you don't ask that question and you provide a proposal for the same exact thing that they did last time and it didn't work, do you guys actually think you're going to get the job? Absolutely not. And then lastly, you have to be able to position this that if you guys do nothing at all, or you choose someone and they don't do exactly what you guys are thinking, what's the worst possible outcome? You're sitting on the same side, you're becoming a trusted advisor, and you're helping them solve a problem or get rid of a goal. That is what we are doing here. That is a trusted advisor. We're not inside here sales trying to shove something down, get someone to sign a piece of paper or a one-call close. Nobody wins from that, guys. Because what's going to happen is you're going to produce a subpar product that is assumed to be aligned with the vision that your customer has. And more times than not, it's underwhelming to them. That does not create a returning customer. What we have today, guys, go ahead. What?
Have you ever just hoped in the field, went on a sales call, that they were establishing pain and driving people to take urgent action? You probably have. There's no way to do it unless you start to create these processes where they have a consistent way of executing that you can practice with them, that you can get feedback on and then adjust, make tweaks and adjustments on this stuff. This is the holy grail. This is the genesis of unlimited sales results for your business. If you just start to install this operating system, right? This process-oriented approach, not scripts, it's process-oriented approach that gives your salespeople, props them up and gives them the systems and playbooks they need to be the best that they can possibly be, which will mean your company is ultimately going to be the best it can possibly be.
When you leave a meeting and you ask these questions, guys, you will have clarity and confidence on do they need to act, and your customer will have clarity and confidence on do they need to act. There's not much more than a win for checkbox one than that you are completely aligned between you and your customer.
Yep.
That's what this is about, guys. So I know we're at the 3 o'clock mark. We almost got through the whole presentation, guys, but we'll continue to be able to recap a lot of what we missed. We'll get inside here. If you guys are not signed up, you guys can go to norepsleftbehind.com, get on the whole series. This is an 8-week series. This is number 2. So next week, we're going to be moving on to checkbox number 2. Do they actually need new and outside services? So it's a huge part, right, of, again, that qualification, that discovery and disqualify. It's okay if they're going to do the repairs themselves. Don't waste your time, energy, and your company's money following up with those types of jobs that we know that are never going to close. So that's next week, guys. Appreciate everybody joining in. David, anything you want to add before we jump off, sir?
No, sir. Get better, guys. Go do something different.
Yeah, guys, try it, take this, use it, try it out, bring it back. If it doesn't work, if it does work, reach out to David and I. We're always here to be able to help you guys, but you're never going to get better unless you implement some type of change or you know exactly what your recipe for success is. So we're here to be able to help you develop that, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.
See you guys.